people in the audience that feel that way. You're actually going to see it on some of the websites that are going to follow this discussion, because some of the people who are here in the audience are very much opposed. They cover our events, but I insisted, because I believe in freedom of the press, that they be allowed to enter. No doubt I know what their take's going to be on it, but we believe in freedom of the press. That's the way it should be. I believe that Israel and the Jewish people can win arguments in the marketplace of ideas. That's what Israel represents. It's an open democracy, and that's what we always practice. Sheldon, should Israel be prepared to trade land for peace?
I think it's unwise to trade land for peace as it is to trust your own land. It's more unwise to trade land for peace from a people who are not a people. You cannot find a serious book covering history that uses the word Palestinian referring to a people prior to, I'll take a round point in time, the Second World War. The Palestinian people were not created until the PLO was created in 1964. There's no such thing as a Palestinian. Do you know what they are? The Palestinians call themselves Southern Syrians. They're the Syrians that were left over from the district of Syria that was so named in the Ottoman Empire. When France was sent in by the League of Nations, and Britain was sent in by the League of Nations to break up those areas and to demarcate the borders, they put in Syria, the French put in Syria and Lebanon, and south of there, the Arabs that lived there, the Syrians, were left over because they lived in Palestine. I'm saying Palestine, it was south of Syria. So they call themselves Southern Syrians. Now, I was just given a book last night by a Joan Peters, who wrote a book that cut short my hope to commission a scholarly study about the Southern Syrians and who make up the Arabs. Mark Twain in the 1800s went from Jerusalem to Haifa, and he said he hardly saw anybody except goats and sheep and Bedouin. There's no such thing as the Palestinian people. They have fooled the world very successfully. I don't like Arafat. I don't like what he stood for. He stood for the destruction of the Jewish people. Give them a state by which they're going to say, oh, we're not going to be demilitarized, and compromise with them. Oh, here's a good compromise, somebody could say. You want to kill, you say to I can imagine a meeting between an Israeli Jew and the Muslims. Muslims, you want to kill 100% of the Jews. We don't want you to kill anybody, so let's compromise. We'll surrender half of the Jews so you could kill them, and then the other half of the Jews will stay alive, and both of us get a compromise. Can't get everything we want, but we get some of what we want. It's ridiculous. These people espouse the destruction of the Jewish people worldwide in the state of Israel. When they talk about the little Satan and the big Satan, this is not colloquy. This is not conjecture. They really mean it. In their culture, in their religion, there's a big difference. Why do you say the men who become martyrs go to heaven and they meet up with 72 virgins? I can never figure out what the virgins did to deserve that. But they do distinguish between heaven and hell. Hell, to them, they really believe in it. So America is the great Satan because it's a larger country, and Israel is the little Satan. So they get rid of one, they're going after the other. Nobody believes it. Nobody believes Hillel Koch, when he came to this country and tried to convince Roosevelt that millions of Jews were being gassed. Nobody believed him. So nobody believes that what they have in mind. So I think to go and allow a Palestinian state is like playing Russian roulette with yourself. Because one day the bullet's going to come out and it's going to kill you. So I wouldn't consider that. They hate us. They don't want us alive. If they really wanted peace, somewhere, somehow, in the last 65 years, they would have moved 1 millimeter toward the Jewish demands. They're always saying, well, we want, you've got to show a confidence-building measure. That's a lot of baloney. Why don't they show confidence-building measure? As I said earlier, all you got to do is not have terrorism for 5 or 10 years, and you convince the Jews you're going to be peaceful. This is not an issue about a grievance. Like the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor because in the Second World War, the United States cut off the flow of oil to Japan to punish them for attacking and taking over China. This is not a territorial issue. The Arabs have 500 times more land than Israel has. And by the way, the biblical Israel or Palestine was Israel plus Jordan. So I don't understand why we're listening to these guys and we feel compelled to say, talk about a two-state solution. For what?